A shadow looms over Yagami and Koana. Japan's National Intelligence Agency, Public Security, fixes its gaze on Reiko Kuzumoto of the Ministry of Health. 5 years ago, Koana prompted her to take revenge on Shinya Kawai for pushing her son to the brink. Secrets can only lie dormant so long, and upon their waking, chaos ensues.
Again, Tsukumo. Can't believe you found it.
I figured Mitsuru Kusumoto would be in one of the better hospitals around the health ministry. That narrowed it down to just a few locations. Then I pinpointed the exact one through sheer determination.
And that led you to Toto University Hospital. So Mitsuru is still lying in a coma there?
Yep. Reiko Kusumoto has been visiting her son every night for the past 13 years. Even after she became vice minister. If you gentlemen want to meet her in person, that would be your best chance.
Yagami, you seriously think you can convince Reiko Kusumoto to turn herself in?
Well, try at least.
She's at the top of the food chain. If it comes out that she committed murder, the whole country's gonna lose it.
If they hadn't tried to hide it, nobody else would have needed to pay for it. Sawa-sensei.
Yeah, you're right.
And if she confesses to killing Kawai, public security will run out of reasons to keep defending Arcane. So in theory, that should free up the police to pursue Soma about Sawa-sensei.
Totally agree with you there.
But Koana-san's against that, right? Didn't he say he wouldn't let her turn herself in?
Yeah. That's why he's not in the loop on this.
So, you're just gonna show up? You do know she's probably surrounded by public security at all times, don't you?
Just means we gotta be prepared for that. Like the professional detectives we are.
Prepared? How?
No, I really don't.
Just leave it to us. Yagami-san, I gotta go get ready. Let's meet at Toto University Hospital.
Got it.
See ya.
So what do you need from me in this, Yagami?
Yeah, I have no idea why Higashi's part of the plot, really.
Think you can find out where Soma and Akatsu are?
You forget who you're talking to? Why wouldn't I be able to cover that? I knew a few ex-Tojo guys who go in and out of RK on the regular.
Thanks. Watch your back. If they find out you're spying on them, they won't like it.
I'll be ready. Like the professional ex-Yakuza I am. See ya.
He's rough around the edges, but in the end, he comes through.
Yeah. Turns out he's got extra time on his hands.
Why don't you hire him at your office, Yagami-shi?
I'll talk about that with Kaito-san once he recovers. Sorry, Tsukumo. We have to take Sukiura from you again.
Why start apologizing now? It's all good. We'll talk again soon.
Alright, we're all caught up in that plot. I'm just curious how much money we've gotten from this at this point. Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, let's go back to the menu. Go for my actual save. Because remember, we spent the last couple of episodes progressing and eventually maxing out the Girls Bite school story. Oh, like here. Man, I thought the taxi cab service when it wasn't like a dragon was convenient, but we can just go straight to Toto Hospital from here if you want to. That's nuts. But there's some stuff to talk about. Last couple episodes, we got the boxing style DLC thanks to the School Stories expansion pack. So I'm gonna get... Alright, you know what? I'll get Champion's Jab and Champion's Hidden Arts. With very successful. Champion's Jab is a square button counterattack, and Hidden Arts gives me X bonus when I use it. So, let's get going to Toto Hospital. Okay. Yeah. We saw Oh, that's interesting. We saw Yagami do that trick earlier at the tail end of the Girl's Bite story, so seeing it come up again in the main story is pretty cool.
What are you... Don't worry. I'll give it back to you after this. I'm sure it's bugged, and we wouldn't want anyone listening in now, would we?
We'll take a few laps around the block, and then drop you back off at the hospital. Sorry, but we just need a bit of your time.
Very well. Who are you people?
We're just local detectives, but Kitakata-sensei is an acquaintance of ours. We know about Mitsuru-kun, and we know that 5 years ago, a man named Shinya Kawai mysteriously disappeared and died.
I have no idea what you're saying.
But you do. I know how this must come across right now, so I assure you, we aren't the ones posing a threat.
Fine. What is it you want, then?
All I want is the truth, in your own words, about Shinya Kawai, and how you carried out his murder.
You're mistaken. I didn't do it.
The other day you received a call from Kitakata-sensei, didn't you? He goes by the name
Here comes the interview.
Jincho. You made that call because we needed to confirm something.
Confirm what?
Whether or not you were being watched by public security.
Public security, you say?
Is she surprised at all? Oh! No, she had a hunch.
As it turns out, you are. Your cell phone is bugged. You can even use GPS to trace who's on the other end of the line. That kind of trace is only possible with cooperation from the cellular providers. Unless you're public security, you could pull something like that off in secret. They want to hit you where you're vulnerable. And that's what you are now after Kawana. Do you understand, Kusumoto-san? You must really be something special. You were never in this job for yourself. It fell into your lap as your predecessors fell like dominoes. That's why you don't owe anyone anything. You're free of constraints. And Mitsuru-kun's tragedy even gained you public sympathy on top of it. Combine all that with a capable bureaucrat like you, there's no telling what you could accomplish. You're cleaning up house, tackling the revolving door problems. Things you know are the right moves, but with no regard for the consequences. I understand even the cabinet gauges your opinion, since you have so much public support. But I think it's also made you some enemies. Most likely whoever's holding public security's leash.
I have more than a few enemies. I'm well aware of that. And I have no doubt public security would comply with them. To be quite frank, public security only exists to maintain the status quo. The establishment is made up of various powers which control politics and finance. But naturally, each branch has its own agendas, goals, ideas of justice, which leads to all sorts of issues and hindrances, which you call constraints. The more individuals who make up society, the more unavoidable that is.
Are you implying it's public security's job to loosen those constraints?
There's more to it than that. The world we live in requires all kinds of value systems to coexist, even in chaos. But if you loosen the constraints too far, the fall of the state is inevitable. In that regard, public security's role is to stabilize and maintain the state, even while bound by constraints. In other words, the constraints of these powers are precisely what are protected by public security. So the fact that I am not caught up in all that does, indeed, make me something of a pesky foreign object.
A pesky foreign object.
You mean someone is clearly willing to
these
blackmail
establishment
you?
people, you're something to be excised.
I guess there's bullying among adults in high places, too.
Yeah. Now we know why they were looking for any kind of weakness in you. And that's when they turned the spotlight on Shinya Kawai's disappearance.
Yep,
An
blackmail.
event that was triggered by Akihiro Ihara's case. You know the one, I presume.
Yes.
An active duty policeman exacted revenge on the bully who drove his son to suicide. Your enemies must have heard that and thought to themselves, what would Reiko Kusamoto have done to her son's bully? I'm guessing that's what prompted public security to make their move. As the details of Ihara's case came to light, a group of thugs calling themselves RK started looking for Shinya Kawai, all to find out that he was kidnapped 5 years ago, probably killed.
I never did anything out of revenge.
She just met me. I don't have enough evidence to make her talk.
Even after finding out Kawai disappeared, public security still had to verify. But if they found out you were involved, that'd be a win for them.
The problem with portraying protagonists with silver tongues is that...
How long are you going to keep talking?
As public security figured out, the bullying cases involving Toshiro Ihara and your son share a common.
The problem is that
That link being Sawa-sensei.
it's very difficult to imagine people like this being stupid enough to actually fall for it.
She was also linked
It's
to Ihara's murder victim.
that type of thing doesn't feel like it would actually work unless people already came up with
So
either a
long
way
after the murder,
and already knew enough about their personality to know how to trigger them into saying certain phrases or believing certain things.
I think
So I can
suspected
basically a silver tongue only works on someone with a massive set of personality flaws.
interrogation skills.
This whole thing with Yagami just feels really unconvincing to me.
Everything. Kusamoto-san, you knew she was killed, right? Kawana should have told you over the phone.
Wait, are you not one of his colleagues?
Oh.
He said he wouldn't cause me any trouble, and that he would never call me again.
Kawana and I are competitors on a temporary ceasefire. We're not colleagues.
Sure.
How's your son doing now?
He could wake up any minute now. Of course, that's been true for the last 13 years.
I see.
Yeah, I'm not...
We transferred him to Toto University Hospital just this year, hoping they could spur his recovery. But it turns out they don't do anything much different from the previous hospital. All I can do is wait.
Okay.
Has anybody from public security contacted you?
This is probably the safest way to broach into the last subject.
I have my suspicions.
What are their names? I imagine what they wanted was to exploit your weakness to control you. Because if all they wanted was to eliminate you, some kind of accident would be easily arranged.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
Yes.
you're not some sort of kung fu master, and you wouldn't bother hiring
Any
bodyguards
idea what
that
these
could
people
protect
are
you from
after?
people like that.
Do you mind sharing?
What they want is control of the pension fund, which is under the Health Ministry's jurisdiction.
Pension fund?
An independent agency within the ministry manages the National Pension Fund. It's taxpayer funded, and it's worth 160 trillion yen.
What?
A
Whoa.
certain group.
What? Independent agency with a 100. What is 160 trillion yen? All right, let's see here. Okay, 160 trillion yen. All right, 160,000. 160 million is 7. 6 circles is a million. 3 circles is 3 zeros is 1,000. 6 zeros is a million. 9 zeros is a billion. So 12 would probably have to be. All right.
Just want to take bigger risks with that money in order to generate more profit. In other words, they want the health ministry to use taxpayer money to gamble. They believe that's the only way to rebuild Japan's faltering economy and secure the future of this country.
I mean, would it work?
Of course, if the gamble actually pays off. But if we lost the gamble, then we wouldn't be able to guarantee anything for the citizens of this country in their golden years. That's why the health ministry manages those funds conservatively, even if it means the returns are low.
Okay. I'm starting to understand now.
You do? Don't leave me in the dust, Yagami-san.
To be able to gamble all this taxpayer money to save the economy, they need a change of management. And here's Kusamoto-san, head of the office.
Okay,
She's
160
beyond
trillion.
control of even the minister.
That's
Her position has the power to take
400,952,723 US dollars. So that's an insane amount of money.
New vice minister would have
That's an insane amount of taxpayer money. I can see someone being willing to kill or manipulate someone in a high position of power to acquire all those funds.
60 trillion yen gamble were to fail, you can blame the whole thing on Kusamoto-san anyway.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Wow. 160 trillion.
I'm guessing they've already contacted you about it?
It's very rare you hear the word trillion in plots like this. Specifically because that's an absurd number. Japanese yen being used is probably the only time I can understand someone believing that amount of money could feasibly exist in a plot like this.
I understand what your feelings must be towards Kawhi, but was that really the only answer?
If you've spoken to Kitakata-sensei, then you must know about the video of how Mitsuru was treated.
Yeah, look, Yagami, no matter what you're doing here,
Aside from Kawhi,
if you don't have an actual solution to high school bullying of this nature, I'm not going to be interested in seeing you self-righteously go after people who fundamentally aren't the actual problem here. That's my problem.
in fact,
Like, lock up all
that's
the
what they were checking.
bully killers you
And
want,
what did I do?
but I'm not
My head
invested in a plot that doesn't actually address
It
bullying.
was only later that
Wow,
Kitakata
okay,
Sensei
so-
showed me the video.
I like being up high school bullies, fine, but if we're gonna try to make actual commentary in this, I can understand what the few criticisms I've heard with the story are getting at when they say that the bullying
Accomplices
situations
in murdering Kawhi?
not handled the most tactfully, I think.
You already know so much.
Like, it's definitely intense and very powerful. Alright, that's it.
I get it now. Let me reiterate. We are not your enemy.
And please, let me go.
Anything you want me to tell Kawana?
I do. He needs to run. Far away. Public security has their sights on him. His capture is not a question of if, but when. He's in danger if he remains in the country. And once public security has him, they will extract everything he knows.
You mean he'd be tortured?
Yes. somewhere well beyond the public eye. No one can withstand what they do. He'd tell them everything. And as for me...
They would expose your vulnerability, making you their pawn.
Most likely. They'd gamble away the taxpayers' money, and I'd never purge the corruption in the health ministry.
I get that. What does it matter?
What?
Because in my opinion, you need to turn yourself in, Kusumoto-san.
You want me to admit to manslaughter? You think I killed a real man? I say he was less than one. Shinya Kawai. He was little more than a subhuman brute. And you saw it. You saw what that brute did to my son. I hated Kitakata-sensei. He was an incompetent teacher. An idiot who turned a blind eye to Mitsuru being tortured. But that changed when he suddenly showed up 8 years later. And then he showed me that video. He said, every bully in that video, they deserved to be punished. That it was the only way to get closure.
You took him up on it. But you of all people should have known better.
True. You're right about that. I struggled with it quite a bit. It's an unconscionable act, no matter how deep your animosity runs. But Kitakata-sensei's words hung on. I couldn't get them out of my head. I saw for myself. I went to Kamurocho, where I'd heard Kawai was working, at a girls' bar. So you know, after Mitsuru jumped that day, Kawai came to me in tears to apologize. I hadn't seen him in all that time. If he'd frozen in place when he saw me, if he'd been the slightest bit apologetic, I might have been able to stay my hand.
I take it he didn't do any of that.
Right. He didn't even recognize my face. And that's hardly the worst part of it, actually. When he saw me, he took me for some bawdy cougar on the prowl for young men. If you've got the cash, I'll show you a good time, he said. All those tears he'd shed years earlier were a farce. But I knew that. Deep down, I'd already known that. That was it. That was the moment I lost all doubt about killing him. And as for those other kids who bullied Mitsuru, they should thank me they didn't share his fate. But that's why. That's why I don't feel like I have any sins to atone for. Every night, I pray he will wake up. What more can you ask me to endure?
Kawana said something similar. But you think you can repeat all that? This time say it to her.
Isn't that... Sawa-san?
You and Kawana can congratulate yourselves. You got vengeance on a monster. But what you're choosing not to see is that your actions have consequences for her. It's vicious. I've seen this before. Justice for one at the cost of another. Someone innocent always pays the price. I won't just sit here and watch as history tries to repeat itself. Not being traced by anyone. So, if you have a change of heart, just give me a call before you turn yourself in.
The heroics swell as Yakubi tries to self-righteously thump his justice chest
That's all I have to say.
at this person. It's not doing anything for me. What happened to Sawa Sensei, frankly, is less a matter of the cycle of vengeance consuming an innocent life and like a freak accident that happened to cross paths with someone completely mundane. It's not even really worth bringing up as a serious consequence. And I'm not super interested in the game killing off Sawa solely to give Yagami some ammo for arguing against the morality of Kawana here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to Kawana. Need to tell him I met with Reiko Kusumoto.
He's gonna be pissed, you know? He's gonna try to rip you a new one.
That's true. So you might want to sit this one out.
Oh my god.
You sure? Because I'll totally take you up on that.
Alright. Call me Jewel. Oh my god. Then again, I can't always tell if the reason for it. Oh my god. What? What? Oh. Is it here? Oh, right, yeah, okay. I forgot to enter I forgot how to enter the Lee Monk hideout. Oh, we can still go in here. Oh, Secret Shop Man is gone. That sucks. Secret Shop Man is gone. Hey, Tesso.
Look who we have here. Haven't seen your mug in a while.
Sorry, I was hanging out with some school kids at a fake hostess club.
How should I put this? Would you freak out if he was right behind you?
You know, this kind of shit is why you get on my nerves.
Couldn't we have done this by phone?
I just came from seeing Reiko Kusamoto. I told her to turn herself in for murdering Kawhi 5 years ago.
You what?
What did she have to say about that?
She had no sins to atone for.
Of course not. Look, what do you think you're doing? Her part in this is done. Don't drag her back into it.
This isn't yours to finish. You would just let Sawa-sensei stay collateral damage. How do you think her folks feel? They probably think you killed their daughter. They don't know why, or if justice will be served. Do they have to suffer like that? All without even knowing the truth? Would Sawa-sensei want that? You talk about justice, but she keeps getting left out. You aren't even trying when it comes to her.
Say whatever you want, but if you cause Kusumoto-san any more pain, I will never forgive you.
That's exactly why I didn't tell you I was going to meet her.
Listen, she hides it well, but she's never gotten over the fact Mitsuru tried to jump to his death.
No, I
And she's
really
not sure
don't care
how to
about
feel
that.
about killing Kawhi. Unlike me.
If she was anything like you, I would have pushed her harder to confess.
There's no evidence that she killed Kawhi. He simply vanished from Kamurocho, and the police didn't even know about it. Besides, there's no case without a corpse. Point being, she'll never be charged.
Right.
Even if she did turn herself in, the police wouldn't know what to do with her.
Don't think for a second that you're getting a pass here. You've killed, what, 7 people now? Do you even hesitate anymore?
You got proof? Running around making... You sure you were a real fucking lawyer?
My colleagues in Kamurocho are getting ready to appeal Ahara's case. Your actions are going to be put under a microscope.
I wouldn't even call that bad news. I want the world to know their bullies are getting what they're due. And by then, I'll probably be going by a different name, maybe even a different look.
You're just going to keep doing this? Did Sawa-sensei sacrifice?
Yeah, okay. Yagami has nothing. He would have had nothing here if Sawa didn't happen to get killed off in a freak accident. It's pretty hard that is the only reason the game thinks he can actually have anything to say about this. The only thing. Literally it. It's silly.
Must mean nothing to you?
Is that the only thing keeping you around? Truth be told, I don't think exposing everything is even in Sawa's best interest.
What?
Sometimes I'm kind of
Boone herself
freaking out.
felt guilty. I just sent you the proof.
What is this? An audio file?
After Ahara-san lost in court, she called me. I recorded our conversation.
Alright.
Toshiro-kun came running to the roof. His face was pretty swollen. And a few minutes later, a student named Mikoshiba came up looking for him. I'll never forget the fear I saw in Toshiro-kun's face. He told me about everything. The teasing, the beatings, the theft. so nobody was on his side. And yet, I had to deny all this in front of an entire courtroom. They said there was no hope, that I was the only witness with no proof whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, I never wanted
Yeah.
to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sawa-kun's testimony in court was false. She was racked
Yeah.
with guilt over it.
And your first thought was to record it? When she was at her most vulnerable?
Yes. And then I played it for Ihara-san. He had the right to know the real reason his son killed himself.
All you did was light the fires of vengeance in Ihara's heart because you didn't want to be alone.
Oh, shut up, Yakumi. Oh my god.
You know, I've heard that bullying is almost instinctive. That's why people who do it never stop. I mean, think about it. Would you stop cleaning a toilet just because it'll get filthy again?
No.
Somebody's always got to get his hands dirty.
Yeah.
And that somebody's gonna be you?
If it means I can prevent another Mitsuru Kusamoto, yes, I will keep killing. These bastards who prey on the defenseless must be punished for all to see. I wish the law would do its job. Because deep down, I don't want to do any of this.
I understand what you're saying. You're taking it too far. Just stop, Koana.
If you really want to stop me, you're gonna have to kill me. And call it justice.
I thought you guys were gonna start another fight. It was a bitch cleaning up the mess last time.
Yeah, my bad, Tesso. Didn't mean to knock over your nice little food stand.
It won't be just a few scratches.
Oh, so you're gonna take one of his
When
offer?
that time comes, take it anywhere but here.
Oh, yeah, let's call it a day. Alright. Let's rest up. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. Change the dog's fur. We have DLC that lets us change the fur. Yeah! A white-colored dog. Nice. I wouldn't call it that. Like, I just want Yagami to come up with an actual answer for the bullying situation that creates people like Ehara and, you know, Kitakawa. That's all I want. Not for him to just go, let's change the system from within. Can you just give me that, Judgment? Can you give me that?
The prosecution says they want to consult with us. Off the record.
Off the record?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They want to discuss with the judge beforehand whether or not Ihara's murder footage is admissible evidence. The video has gone viral, of course, and nobody's really sure how to handle it.
Is the prosecution really gonna hold the line on it being a deep fake?
That's quite possible. Which is why we're meeting today in the courthouse conference room. I'm sorry for the short notice, but could you join us?
Of course. I'll be there.
Thank you very much. No need to rush. There's still plenty of time. Just be sure you're there, please.
Yeah. Let's see. Taxi to the courthouse. We can take a taxi from inside a building. Fast travel technology has never been better in Yakuza land.
So what you're saying is, Yui Mamiya was not a victim of sexual battery, but rather she conspired with Akihiro Ehara to fake a murder alibi.
Is that your
We
lone
already
fall?
closed the book on that ordeal, yet now the defense wants to write a sequel?
That sounds like, Sadao Takano.
To establish the defendant's motive in the harassment, we need to bring the Mikoshiba murder to light. The groping itself was staged. It was all part of their script, right down to the guilty verdict.
It sounds like the defendant has some strong hostility for the court.
Ihara got the court to accept his murder alibi by twisting the legal process to his own ends. It It was easy to miss, because at the time, Mikoshiba's body hadn't been found yet. But we have to admit, we all got duped.
We? You're not even a lawyer. You're a detective.
Yagami-sensei still has a license to practice.
Forget what I said if it offended you, prosecutor.
My superiors always told me that in his youth, your Genda-sensei was a difficult man.
Yeah, that is your own fault.
He'd insist
Okay.
his clients were innocent.
I didn't know. I forgot that his cadence could get this deep.
He was hostile to the prosecution and was known to fraternize with Kamurocho Yakuza. But it was his sheer disrespect that made my boss hate him.
Damn. You sure know an awful lot about Genda-sensei.
Because I honestly can't say I like him. He treated me like a
Yeah,
child when I was starting out.
I'll tell you this. There's no higher praise for the defense than being called difficult by the prosecution.
Now, if we can get back on track, can we confirm the defendant himself has agreed to the appeal?
Yes.
Not.
But if Ehara really committed the murder, why would he agree to his alibi being scrutinized?
Ehara's objective isn't to get away with murder.
Then what is he after?
Making a mockery of the legal system.
Then it'd be best not to pay him any attention.
And you'd be right. If your priority is saving face in front of the court rather than preserving fairness in the law.
You've got a real attitude.
I mean, you should have listened to him in the last cutscene, dude.
Sorry I'm a bit late.
Why are you slowing down for him? Who is he? Another real-life person motion captured into the game.
Wants to assert the defendant's innocence by establishing his guilt in a murder.
Wait, before we go on, who is this?
He's from the Metropolitan Police. Considering Ehara was on the force, he has a vested interest here. He's not here to participate, don't worry.
Police can't afford to be embarrassed any further. We need to send the right message to the public.
Can we have your name, please?
The name is Magda.
And your title?
Think of me as a kind of police coordinator. But don't let me interrupt the proceedings. Forget I'm even here. Please, continue.
So much for this meeting being off the record.
Allow me to restate the prosecution's opinion to the judge. We cannot allow the murder footage to be used as new evidence in Akihiro Ehara's appeal. It's nothing but an online hoax of unknown origin. You can't just casually introduce that into court.
Indeed.
Furthermore, if Ehara bears such hostility towards the court, the footage might end up being a trap.
Trap?
Yes. What if the next viral video proves the original footage was doctored? What if the proceedings have already begun by then? Do we drop the appeal and call it a day? We cannot allow a man like Ehara to swing the court around by its nose at his whims. With that in mind, I believe Ehara's conviction should be upheld and enforced. Is the defense here to comment? Did you think any of this through before filing this appeal?
Yes. We aim to prove the defendant's innocence, no matter what their objections may be.
What about you?
Ehara's guilty verdict was wrong. We don't think there was enough evidence at the first trial to result in that verdict.
There was fiber from the victim's underwear found on Ehara's hand.
That was a trick. It was set up with cooperation from the victim.
There is no evidence it was a trick. Are you saying Yui Mamiya and Ehara met beforehand? Is there proof of that? Was there perhaps any security footage we didn't see?
No, the station erases the footage from their cameras after a few days if there's no need to keep it.
Right. But if there's even a chance Ehara and Mamiya were a team, the underwear fiber proves nothing. What were the other deciding factors? Security footage? The smartphone videos we kept seeing on TV? Those don't prove the crime either, because there was a huge time gap in them. We've done enough legwork to know.
There's a big gap. This one.
Did you walk around the site with your own 2 feet, prosecutor?
Well, no. But I have been to Shinjuku Station plenty of times.
You'd have to.
Then you must know they have a mountain of security cameras covering every angle. But if you went there to look carefully, you'd find there are some blind spots. That's a horror running, while Mamiya chases after him. It seems as though the whole chase is recorded, but this area in dotted lines is a blind spot no camera saw. That's the momentary gap in time where Ahara and his double switched places.
The victim was running right behind Ehara. She would have noticed if they swapped places right in front of her eyes.
Oh, but she knew about the swap all along. They were all in on it from the start.
Can you prove that?
We don't have to prove the defendant is innocent, Takano-san.
What?
All we have to prove is that the evidence provided by the prosecution at the trial was insufficient to determine guilt. Because that's the role of the defense counsel.
Indeed it is.
If the prosecution can't debunk any and all possibility that the train groping was a put-up job, then it's innocent until proven guilty.
Then the defense should have brought it up the first time. Although I doubt Shirosaki-sensei actually believed in the defendant's innocence herself.
Yeah, no, she didn't.
The guilty verdict at the trial was orchestrated by the defendant. It was our error not to have seen it at the time. But it would be another not to correct ourselves now.
Again, the heroic music.
He's just a subway bird.
That is a statement I cannot abide. The law can't give the impression that a false charge is permissible, even for a subway.
Right. I take that back. I misspoke.
I do believe this case is worth a trial in the appeal court. If the court was misled by a hostile defendant, then only the court can correct it.
Thank you very much.
However, I too have seen Ihara-san's murder footage. I believe it would be difficult to introduce it as evidence in this trial. Therefore, I cannot allow it to be brought into the court.
Oh, that's an interesting swerve. Yeah, that would make everyone compromised. Any jury would be inherently biased. That does make more sense the more I think about it.
Sorry, son. Think you've got this covered?
Huh?
I'll poke my head in at the office later.
Very well. We'll be expecting you.
Bando-san, was it? From public security?
I don't recall saying my department. But yeah, that's right.
Do you know Reiko Kusamoto? The vice minister at the Ministry of Health?
Of course.
Any particular reason she's under constant surveillance?
A rather bold question, isn't it?
It's just you and me here.
I see you know how to cut to the chase, Yagami-sensei.
There's no way a guy from Oxyri can show up and not be related to Reiko Kusamoto.
Ahara's trial can't be that important.
I agree.
So I have to figure I'm the reason you showed up.
We actually saw this guy in the previous cutscene, now I think about it.
Were you finally forced to get out?
Yeah, I think he was the guy who directly blackmailed Kusamoto.
Kuwana, otherwise known as Yu Kitakata, is wanted on suspicion of murder. If you know where he is, please do tell.
Wanted for murder? Huh. Because you know, I thought it was RK acting on your orders that killed Sawa-sensei. You think you can hide that fact forever? Even the cops in the field have their suspicions.
Do they? Well, cubicle workers always resent the corner offices. Officers in the field complain about their superiors. I did the same thing back in my day.
Then why did you use thugs as your pawns instead of officers? Is that how Sawa-sensei got roped into this?
I'm afraid I'm not following.
He knew it was going to be a dirty job from the beginning.
He doesn't. I'm not sure. I was going to say he doesn't look physically fit enough to be a boss fight, but like, I mean,
that's a good one.
We know for a fact that suits can hide some serious musculature, so it's possible we might have to fight him later.
But it's enough to crush the likes of you.
I'm gonna ask just in case. Where is Soma now?
Hand over Kawana to me, and there will be no more victims.
What?
Oh man.
He's going around executing bullies. He's a disturbance to public order.
I will have order in my Kamurocho.
Sawa-sensei.
I didn't come here to argue. I came to issue an ultimatum.
Man, no, that guy, he knows his BS. He's got Yagami by the balls right now. Next move. What is our next move? We'll figure it out when we get in the next video. Well, maybe not. Well, yeah, we can keep going for a little bit longer. Alright. Oof. It's fighting time.
Yagami-san, was everything okay back there? That man, Bondo, I knew something was off about him. Is he one of the men behind RK?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He was trying to find out where Kawana was.
I see. That reminds me. Hoshino-kun seems to have heard some rumors about RK.
Hoshino-kun, did you pick up what the word is on RK?
Yeah. One of the bosses, Akutsu, came back to Kamurocho yesterday.
He's back?
He's number 2 in the group, isn't he?
Yeah, so he would probably know about Soma. Know where he is?
Alright. What's our next move, gang?
You're aware, Yagami-san, but RK owns some of the cabaret clubs in Kamurocho, and Akutsu manages them. If a girl makes a lot of sales, or if she becomes a rising star in the club, Akutsu apparently gives that girl a bonus. Personally.
How do you know this stuff, Hoshino-kun?
Our clients come from all walks of life at Kamurocho, cabaret girls included.
So
fair enough.
A popular girl has a chance to meet Akutsu?
Yeah, but this week nobody was getting that chance. Until yesterday. Which is how I figured out Akutsu is back in Kamurocho. He must have been in Yokohama.
Oh, wow. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, he was definitely in Yokohama. He was spending a lot of time in Yokohama last we saw him.
Bosses never sleep in the same place twice. Gotta keep the cops off their trail.
But despite the risk, Akutsu still reaches out to popular girls.
Hey, I'm not even mad. In fact, I'm up for the challenge.
Awesome, Sari-san. If you can rock the cabaret gig again, you can hook Akutsu.
It'd be an undercover mission to infiltrate RK. Super risky. But damn if I don't want to see Saori-san transform one more time! I can't help it!
Wow. So we're gonna play as Saori twice in this game.
You know for sure that RK owns?
Well, I mean, again, that Saori is technically his girlfriend now, so of course he wants to see his girlfriend dress up as a hostess.
Queen Rouge. What about the owner? Still the same guy?
Yep, he's still there. One of the original employees. Only thing is, it used to be a classy spot, but they've cut a lot of corners. The vibe has probably changed a lot.
Really? Well, maybe that means I can afford to go.
Hey, totally. I want to go too.
This is no time to be idiots.
Okay, well, sorry, son, you'll need the whole makeover again. I can take point on that.
No need, I'll be fine.
Huh?
Just the other day, Mari-san and I figured out what kind of makeup goes over well with RK. I'll just go with that.
With Mari? Well, counterpoint, I think a man might know better what men like.
With all due respect, don't judge what you haven't seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Yagami, you've never actually seen... Alright. If you look to Sari, she wore the same outfit as last time. You know what? Let's add some final touches. We can do this twice in the
Can
video.
I look at the makeup you designed with Mari, and if anything needs touching up, I can fix it?
There will be no need to fix anything. It's first-class work, and your opinion isn't called for.
Yeah, sure, but... no.
Let's change up a little more.
I'm sorry, but can I just take a quick... We're dealing with RK, and they're...
Seriously?
Damn, Yagami-san. I can't believe you're fighting Saori-san on this. You're insane.
You have a good point, Yagami.
And evidently no fear.
Very well. I can see you mean business, so...
Yeah, I'm not going to pass up an opportunity to mess around with your character design again.
Thanks.
Then let's get to it. I'm trusting you to get it right, Yagami-san.
You will like whatever I put you in. Yeah, this is the outfit you had last time. It'd be kind of weird if you did wear the same exact outfit as last time. No shit fluff. Alright. Let's put you in... Yeah, let's change up everything about you. Let's even change your perfume, because even that doesn't matter too much, but... Alright, let's do this. It's only fair that if Mari-san got to dress you up once, that Yagami-san gets to dress you up to his own taste. Make preparations? No, we're good to go this time.